Welcome back. A study that was done in a university in southern England yielded some very interesting results. The study found that when students wore Superman t shirts, they rated themselves as stronger, more likable, and superior to other students. So, what does this prove? It shows that we not only are what we wear, but we also become what we wear. And I know you're looking at me now, you're saying this isn't characteristic of me having a t shirt on as I go about my discussion today. So let's do something a little different. Now, that's better, more presentable. So, in our discussion today, we're going to be focusing on appearance and the various aspects of a person's appearance. But now, one of the main aspects of appearance is clothing. And so we're going to break clothing down into three categories: active wear, casual wear, and then business wear. Because you see, what you wear has an impact on how you perform, and what you wear has an impact on how you feel about yourself. How is that the case? Well, let's take active wear, for instance. So we're talking about sweats. We're talking about clothing that an individual would wear to the gym, to work out, to do some cardio or maybe some strength training, things of that nature. So what impact does having active wear on, what impact does it have on the person? Well, you see that because an individual is wearing these workout clothes, then it reminds them to make healthy choices. And then it eliminates the stress of having to bring additional clothing along because you're already dressed and ready to proceed to the gym. And so it reduces any excuse that a person may have about working out. And so that's the impact that the clothing has on the person. Well, what about casual wear? Well, casual wear is a more relaxed feel. And in certain instances, it is both casual and business. But we're focusing just on casual for right now. It's a more friendly and a creative way to dress. And so what it does is it helps individuals to network because it puts an individual in the frame of mind that it's okay to socialize and to let their hair down. We are familiar with the term that a lot of employers have taken on, casual Friday, in an attempt to help those that are in their employ to socialize together. And that socialization will help them to become a closer unit so that they can work better together and they'll be more productive. And then finally, we have business wear. Now, business wear, because of the structure involved, maybe with wearing a suit, maybe with wearing a tie and a dress shirt, it promotes an idea of being business minded, being goal oriented, being in the frame of mind where you are going to be productive just because of having on business wear. And we've heard the term a lot of times that an individual has a power tie or a power suit. And according to research, that's absolutely true because it, in some cases, increases the hormones in the body that promote dominance, that promote being assertive, that promotes generally just being more productive. And so the better that an individual dresses, the better frame of mind that they are, especially when it comes to business. And that's important. But now, in these three categories, it's necessary for us to choose accordingly which one we're going to be involved in. Of course, you wouldn't wear a three-piece suit to the gym, but then you wouldn't wear sweats to a business meeting. Those are things that you just wouldn't do. So now, one thing that has been noticed, and I've heard individuals say this around me, those gentlemen that wear suits, they seem to radiate confidence. So why does a suit make a person look more attractive and also more powerful? Why is that the case? Well, throughout time, after suits had become something that individuals could gain access to, after they could go and purchase it, then we come to find out that they became status symbols. And that status is often correlated with recognition, prestige, and social acceptance. So at one time, suits played a very pivotal role in deciding what class of people were able to wear them and what class was not. So now, clothes in general are a way to rank an individual in society. So that ranking is based upon the quality of the clothing, the style of the clothing, and various other factors. And then clothes also communicate a certain role of achievement. Because you think about it, usually when you see a doctor, they're wearing doctor's coats or they have a stethoscope around their neck. See, these things that are part of their wardrobe help to show you the level of achievement that they have attained. So now, going back to suits, really, that particular segment of clothing, business wear, suits, and things of that sort, they're a signaling mechanism. They signal that a person is a professional. And it even, in some cases, grants an individual more respect because they're wearing a suit. And then, too, suits maintain a proper social distance. Because what it's saying is that an individual is less approachable because they're more professional. And so that suit, just by itself, makes that known. So now, once again, you notice that men and women, when they put on business attire, they radiate confidence. See, that's connected to their body language. Because formal wear, business wear, the cut of it kind of restrains an individual. And so because of that restraint, then the individual looks and appears to be more focused because the clothing that he wears does not allow him to move in a way that would be unprofessional. And then even individuals who, like some guys I know, they say, well, man, look, I don't have the style to pull that off. Well, research shows that when we emulate the dress code of people we consider smart and powerful, we feel infused with those same qualities as well. So if an individual has problems picking out what to wear, they have problems putting things together, then they can call on the example of other individuals that are in their profession or maybe that are professionals, and they can see the way that those individuals dress, and they can take on upon themselves the same styles and the same colors that that individual may use, and in the process, and then they begin to exhibit confidence and professionalism themselves. That's the funny thing about clothing, isn't it? So now, why are we making such a big deal over what you put on? Because you got to understand that what you choose to wear is a part of your presentation to the world. And what you present yourself to the world as is what they will judge you on. And so wouldn't it be best to put your best foot forward? Absolutely. So now let me give you another example. This particular example, if I can get my notes here, comes from the Kellogg Business School. Now that's in Northwestern University. And they conducted an experiment. And the experiment was that they took a group of individuals and gave each individual a lab coat. Okay? And so half of those individuals were told that the lab coats were painter's coats, and half were told that the lab coats were actually lab coats. And what turned out, the results were very odd, because those who believed that they were wearing painter's coats, they made more errors than those who believed that they were wearing lab coats. So you see, what you wear has an impact, not just on the people around you, but it has an impact on how you feel. Dressing a certain way can help you feel smarter. It can help you feel more confident. It can help you be more productive. And so if we, as individuals, if we associate business suits with positions of power, then wearing a suit may help an individual feel more smarter and more powerful. And that's just by looking at one experiment that was done there at the Kellogg School of Management. Yes, what we wear has a profound impact on how we feel and how others feel about us. So let's go a little bit further. Really, one of the main reasons why it's important to look at our appearance is because within the first 7 seconds that an individual meets you, he's already determining whether or not you're trustworthy. Yes, those 7 seconds are called the first impression. So now, how do you take those 7 seconds that you're given and make the best out of them? Well, if it's an in-person meeting, you especially want to think about your clothing, your dress and grooming. See, there are certain expectations that are placed upon you, especially if this is a professional event. There are certain things that people expect to see. There are certain codes of conduct that they expect you to adhere to. And so just the hair and makeup that a person chooses can have an impact on those first 7 seconds meeting a new person. And then one of the things that's encouraged during the first 7 seconds is to smile. Psychologically, it's a sign of altruism, which means that a person is trustworthy. It's positive when a person smiles. That's one way that you can take advantage of those 7 seconds. Another way is to speak slowly. So an individual, because he's in a new circumstance, he may tend to speak more quickly. His words may tend to run together. But in those first 7 seconds of meeting an individual, you want to speak slowly and clearly, because that in itself helps the individual that you are meeting for the first time to see that you want your thoughts to be known. But not only do you want them to be known, you want them to be understood. And that's important, especially when you're dealing with individuals who may eventually enter into a contract or a business arrangement with you. Your ability to communicate effectively is very important in that instance. And then too, within that first 7 seconds, it's important to watch your posture. Yes, keeping your shoulders back and your head high. It paints a picture of you that you're confident. Not that you're proud or arrogant, but that you're confident in what you bring. You're confident in yourself. You're confident that the things that you desire to accomplish in life are things that are within your grasp. So that's necessary. So those are a few things that you can use to help you within the first 7 seconds of meeting an individual to have a good first impression. So now let's go a bit further. Now, we talked about how what an individual wears has a bearing on individuals around you, but does it have a bearing on you? Absolutely. New research suggests that professional dress increases abstract thinking and gives a person a broader perspective. So that tie that you have, that favorite suit, it could be a switch to turn on your creativity, according to this study. Now, we mentioned earlier that 7 seconds that is given in order for an individual to formulate in their mind the first impression of you. That's actually part of a series of events that's called thin slicing. And so that involves a person's brain making multiple millisecond judgments about the person who they're talking to for the first time. Have you ever been involved in a conversation with someone, and as they're beginning to express themselves and speak freely, you get the urge that this person may not be trustworthy, even though you've only known them for a short time? Well, that's part of thin slicing. Or maybe the way that a person carries themselves, the way that they shake your hand, tells you that this person is someone that's steady and reliable. How did you come to that conclusion? Thin slicing. You develop that first impression based upon the multiple judgments that your mind makes in those few milliseconds that you first meet that person. So, the way an individual carries himself, his posture, the way he's dressed, the way he projects his voice, all of those things can have an impact on an individual who you meet for the first time. So now we have mentioned several things in regards to a person's appearance. Can we be more formal? Is there something in particular that needs to be given attention? Well, according to research, the presentation of an individual includes their accessories, their hairstyle, their fragrance, their posture, their body language, their tone of voice, and then the level of energy that a person uses to move and to speak. So that's quite a bit, isn't it? But that's all involved in the person's presentation or their appearance, more specifically, according to our discussion that we're having, the first impression. So now, having all of those factors in mind is necessary that we take intentional command of our appearance. Because our appearance can mean the difference between taking the family out to celebrate a new contract and going back to the drawing board trying to figure out what we need to do in order to gain more contracts. It can mean the difference between a good outcome and an outcome that will require more work. So yes, our appearance, our clothing, our posture, our personal hygiene, it all communicates. And it communicates before we even open our mouths. So as we mentioned, consciously and unconsciously, what we choose to put on, how we choose to carry ourselves says a whole lot about who we are as a person. And so that's necessary for us to consider, because who we are as a person will determine who we will become in the future. And so it's necessary for us to give attention to our appearance. 7 seconds. That was new to me. 7 seconds is all you have to make a first impression. And if you follow the guidelines that we discussed today, that first impression will always be awesome. I want to take a little time at the end of the video here to thank everyone that has been loyally watching and following us. We appreciate everything that you do to support us, and we're thankful that we're able to help some of you with the difficulties that you may be facing, especially when it comes to starting a business, coming into the business world, because it can be difficult. It can be difficult. But there are things that we can do as individuals to mitigate that difficulty. And this whole channel is dedicated to that pursuit. So once again, we thank you. We appreciate you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Be easy.